All right, what's up, guys? Got another one for you today. Pretty cool one actually. That will definitely help you catch a few more bass. But it's all about paying attention. Paying attention to what you catch that bass on, what structure he come off of, what time of day it was. Those sort of things all play into whenever you find bass, whenever you catch a bass. If you're trying to find a pattern. So for me personally, if I catch a bass, and I'm not just gonna catch that bass, throw it back. I'm gonna catch that bass. I'm gonna look around. What am I fishing? What am I on? What's the depth? What did that fish come off of? You kind of got to look at those sort of things whenever you catch bass, because that right there can be a telltale sign. Obviously, you catch a bass and you think you have a pattern. Well, say you're fishing a whole laydown bank, right? Say there's 20 laydowns on the bank and you catch one on the fourth laydown, right? Well, say that laydown's sticking out farther than the rest of them in a little bit deeper water. That's probably why you caught that fish on that laydown. So then what I'm going to do is I'm going to look for all the laydowns. I'm going to keep fishing and make sure that there's not fish on just every laydown, but I'm going to make sure if I get another bite on one of those laydowns that stick farther out, that's a pattern. That's a pattern within a pattern. So that's a big thing you will hear fishermen say is, what's the pattern within the pattern? Like, you catch fish on a grass flat, well, they're not just on there. They're not in that spot for just no reason. There's something to that spot. Is there a hole in the grass? Is there a hard spot in the grass? Is a grass turn? Those kind of things play into it. So what you want to do is when you catch a bass and you're trying to find a pattern, find what those bass are doing, you want to just take your time. You want to look at what that bass come off of. Like I said, how deep is it? What structure is it? How far out does it stick out? Is it isolated? That's one big thing that I find a lot of bass doing, is isolated stuff. And that's giving away some juice there. It's not just fishing grass flats. It's not just whatever laydowns you want to pull up to. There's isolated stuff. If you're fishing a laydown and there's one little piece of wood that sticks out off the laydown, 2 foot, just out there by itself, a lot of times those fish will hang out on that sort of stuff instead of just those big laydowns that everybody's going through there flipping a crawfish on. You know what I mean? So you kind of gotta think outside the box a little bit nowadays. There's so many people fishing that those fish are starting to adapt. They're starting to realize, hey, we're getting thrown at every day on these laydowns. So where are we going to go? Where are we going to go to get out of so much fishing pressure? They're going to go out to the nearest thing that separates their self from everything else that looks the same. So if you're fishing a whole flat, sometimes you get on mud flats and there'll be wood laid up on mud flats. Well, you got to find out, are they on the one sticks that's on the mud flats? Are they on the whole tree laydowns that's blowing up on the mud flats? Are they, if you're fishing a ditch, for example, in the wintertime, are they in the very back of the ditch? Are they in the front of the ditch? How deep is the ditch? Is there water flowing in the back of it? That sort of thing all plays into finding patterns on fish. So, one of the most important things for me, like I said, is finding the pattern within the pattern. I have fished so many tournaments, and you just catch a fish. The best time to figure out the pattern within the pattern is the tournament day. If you can ever figure that out on tournament day and not get so caught up on what happened in practice, if you can ever just pull up on a laydown and you realize, hey, they're where the wind's blowing the hardest on these laydowns, it's got just enough water on it so the fish aren't getting blown up on the bank, then you just start running that pattern down the lake. That's how you really, really catch some big fish and have a really good day on the water. Grass flats, so that's got to be the most important pattern within the pattern fishing out there. So, a lot of these lakes in the south, even north, pretty much a bunch of lakes have grass flats in them. And that's how big fish and that's how big bags are caught and tournaments are won. But there's always something within it. You know what I mean? So if you're fishing a grass flat and it's all 4 foot, and you think it's 4 foot, and you're just casting a chatterbait out there, which is what you're probably going to be casting on a grass flat, that or a speed worm or something like that, and you get bit, go ahead and instantly mark that spot. Figure out, if you have 360, use that 360. See what the grass is doing. If you have live scope, try to figure it out. If you don't have live scope or 360, that's perfectly fine. Just look around on your 2D sonar. If you don't have any grass, just realize, hey, there's something different into the spot. If you have a map, kind of look at your map. See what that map's doing. See what the depth change is. See if there's a hard spot. If it's not a hard spot, then you may just find one of those magical spots that those fish like. Sometimes that grass comes up higher in certain spots, and that's what it may not be deeper. The grass comes up higher to the top of the water, and that's what those fish are in. So it may be 4 foot deep, and that grass is coming up 2 foot, 2 foot, 2 foot in those places, and then it randomly comes up to almost the top of the water. a lot of times those fish will congregate and stuff like that because it's just something a little bit different. So kind of keep those things in mind whenever you're trying to catch bass. There's always a pattern within a pattern. Just keep an eye out on what you catch those fish on, and a lot of times that'll lead to catching a lot more bass. So kind of keep those things in mind. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, leave a like, comment, let me know what else you guys would like to see. And until then, we'll catch you on the next one.